From one Northeast professional to another, we have Josh Pretty Boy Kelly, the welterweight representative in Rio 2016, welterweight as a professional. First thing I say is welterweight Commonwealth champion. So definitely has achieved something that puts him at a decent level already. And again, I was actually surprised and shocked when I looked at it and did a bit of research into Josh. Someone I'm fairly familiar with anyway. But I was a little surprised how few fights he's had as a professional because of the speed and the pace at which they've worked him. As I say, picked up the Commonwealth title with fewer than 10 fights on his record. That's an achievement in himself. He seems to be another slightly divisive character, maybe because of the sort of hype that we've had around him. I know his trainer, Adam Booth, has described him as one of, if not the most talented prospects and talented boxers he's ever worked with. High praise indeed when you consider some of the names that Booth has trained, like Mick Conlon, George Groves, David Hay going further back. From that point of view, fans are really then expectant of seeing something special in the ring. And I think Kelly's provided glimpses of that. He's definitely shown flashes of his brilliance, but not anywhere near consistently enough to warrant such praise as yet. If they say you're only as good as your most recent fight, this is where he maybe falls away slightly. Most people, most boxing fans, have his previous outing, the stoppage loss to David Evanesian, fresh, very, very fresh in their minds. So from that, I think it's easy to say why he's maybe underperformed as a professional. But what a lot of people tend to forget is sort of how young he is. He's sort of getting into that mid to late 20s point of view now. And I can't exactly, 22 back in, maybe he's a little older than I thought, 22 back in Rio 16. So yeah, he's sort of talking 6 years on, getting to that point where you want to see him in these fights. But for whatever reason, he hasn't really built up that record in terms of just staying active and getting out there. Fighting for a European title after like less than 15 fights is quite a task. And I think a lot of people now very, very quick to say it came too early for him. But I was one backing Josh in that going into that contest. I thought it was going to be a big ask. Avanesian is a very classy operator, a very tough competitor, but I thought Josh would have enough in terms of his skill and his speed to maybe edge it on the cards. See, that wasn't to be. He showed even in that fight he was controlling certain rounds, but it's all irrelevant. Like, there's no point winning 5 rounds if you get knocked out in the 6th. I don't want to dismiss Josh though, because whatever he decides to do now, it seems like it's been ages since that fight, and we haven't seen or heard much from him since. Rumours going up to 154, super welterweight. Similarly to Fowler, it's often very easy, or it's more obviously highlighted after a loss that there's problems making the weight, there's issues cutting those final few pounds. Similarly to Fowler, we'll see just exactly where he stands, where the land lies with Josh Kelly if he does come back at that higher weight. I'm not convinced, similar with Anthony Fowler, I'm not convinced that mixing it with the bigger, stronger guys up with that higher weight class will do him any favours, but we may see a reinvigorated, a more confident, a fresher performance from Kelly. I'm going to give him a bit of leeway, and not just because he's from the Northeast. If anything, with his top on, I'll do the Kieran Trippier point in my sleeve. With the Newcastle top on, I should be even harsher on Josh than I am on anyone with being from Sunderland. But I'm going to settle with a C for Kelly because, as I say, I think there's no shame in losing to someone like Avanesian. There's the Commonwealth title that he has picked up. I think that's just tipped him to a C for me, and I dare say there'll be a bit of controversy and a bit of discussion about that one.